guys out the gate are smoking. Unreal. Just out of this world clean. They look good as well. You know, being the new kids on the block, I am happy for them. And man, if you guys don't know me by now, my name is Ricardo, and I'm joined by my brother in percussion, EP the Great, also known as Elijah Powell. And who are we talking about today? We actually have Wilberforce University's Drumline on, Black Ice, and we got the people that's running it. We got Mr. Joewe Cabrera and Mr. Dr. Vigil Goodwine is going to take over, and I'm going to let them step in and introduce themselves.
What's going on? My name is Joewe Cabrera. I'm the assistant band director at Wilberforce University. I'm also the percussion instructor. I'm originally from North Carolina. Yeah, it's pretty valid.
Pretty valid, huh? Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Vigil Goodwine. I'm the director of bands at Wilberforce University and the assistant percussion instructor. I'm his assistant actually. Yeah, so pretty straightforward. I help out the man that's right there, Joey.
Yeah, so that's really impressive. Thank you guys for coming on the cast today. We're happy to have you on. And just a quick announcement, Dr. Vigil Goodwine, we're glad to have you back. You were on our first episode.
Oh, you gotta tell them.
Such a long way from there. You know, it's episode 3. I'm sorry, it's season 3, episode 2. And man, we're just happy to have you back on. So we're gonna jump right on in. And first of all, just Joey, this is for you, right? We're gonna jump right into this. Out the gate, you walk in the door, your first time seeing in the new position, new faces, new drumline. What are your expectations? Talk to us.
Well, off gate, I will admit my first expectation was I was expecting to see a full line because over the summer, Virgil, we was talking and he kept telling me like, yeah, we got 8 snares, 11 tenors, 16 Z's, and I'm just like, I'm amazed by these numbers. I'm like, I don't understand how he got these numbers out of nowhere on the first year. But I was really expecting just to see, you know, a wide range of talent, anybody. It really didn't matter who it was. It was as long as you were committed to stay and play and build. You know, I was really expecting to see talented snare line because I was seeing videos of them over the summer. I was expecting to see a lot of cymbal players, I will admit, because when I heard 16, I said, ain't no way, you know. But I mean, you know, it is what it is. We still have them though, so we have the spots open. But I was really just expecting to, you know, see where we was finna do, like what we was finna do. It was just brand new. Like nobody knew each other, so it was like, all right, let's get to work. Kind of just. It was almost like didn't have an expectation, but at the same time, it was like, you know, it was a little like overwhelming to kind of just see like, wow, there's really people here. All right, let's get it.
So if you think about that first day, we won't belabor this point too much, but you know, you remember your first speech, your opening speech.
I think I just introduced myself, and I was like, you know. I remember I spoke for like 30 minutes. I remember I was saying a bunch of things, you know, I was just going everywhere. I was just trying to hit all points I could. And then at the end of it, I was like, all right, well, I'm done talking. Let me hear from y'all now.
Cool. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
So before I move on to the second question, I just wanted to say, personally, I enjoyed you guys this year. I enjoyed the material, very intense. You can hear, you know, the clarity in the parts, but talk to us about the creative process in the writing for each section in the line.
All right, well, I'll start with the snares. It was actually kind of fairly easy with the snares because they were experienced. So I really didn't have to do too much as far as like giving them creative direction. I just kind of tell them like, yeah, I want this sound. Can y'all do, you know, make it, I want to go for this feel. And then they really knew what to do. Like they knew where to take the direction that I was saying. Bass drums, it was a little difficult because you had the tonals, then you had the drops. So it was kind of hard to just like, it was just hard to spend time to teach the tonals how to be a tonal section when you have new people from everywhere. Like, you know, and then it's just like, yeah, we didn't do the extreme tonals that I was trying to teach at where I was from. So just had to take it to the basics with that. Like a lot of just, you know, 1 end, a 2 end, a 3 end, a 4 end, like just march around the parking lot with them. The tenor drum was kind of the hardest but the easiest section because they have the easiest parts, but yet it was like trying to just create a new foundation from scratch. So it was trying to give them a new way of how to. It was trying to reinvent the wheel, but it was hard to do that. And the experience when you look at tenor drum players, they really didn't have the most like knowledge about how to be a tenor drummer. So that was kind of like the hardest process because I had to really, I had to strap up sometimes, and I had to be like, all right, this is how we need to do it. This is how it needs to happen. Like, and there's a video Virgil got me on social media where I was literally strapped up, and I did the whole show with them because I needed them to see what I needed them to do. So for that, I was like, I have to strap up with y'all. And then the cymbals, it was kind of easy because I had a very experienced cymbal player, and she knew what to do when it was time to do it. And I didn't really want to like micromanage her section because it was like, you already know where to go. There's only but so many sounds we can make with this. So take your best judgment when you make up parts, or we collaborated a lot, and it worked. And the quints, it was, that's me. So it was fairly easy for me to just sit there and like I would do them last and they would hate it because they would just be waiting around for me. Mm-hmm. And the drawback was like they were they didn't really have a true foundation about quints, so their parts were very like basic, and it wasn't my style. So I had to just I had to strap up with them, and I had to wait for, I got everybody under control, and I'm like, all right, so now I have to hear it. So creative process with the quints really came from my brain because I had to wait. And then once I heard everything, I was like, okay, and then I would kind of give it a rip, and I'll wait for their reaction, and they'll they'll either give me that face or I wouldn't get the feedback, and I'd be like, all right, no, that didn't work. So let's do something else. And, eventually it all molded itself. And then it was like, y'all kind of get where I'm trying to go with this. And they kind of caught my energy. And then, eventually it was like, all right, cool. Y'all know what I'm doing, right? It's like, I bet. So
let me say this. What you're saying right now, it comes across in the video, the footage that was being shown, because like I said, you guys are smoking out the gate. Clearly your message was received.
Right.
So Dr. Goodwine, did you have any, like Elijah asked this question, did you have any input in, did you and Joey work together on the creative process? I know you wear multiple hats. That's why I'm asking that question.
It's hard being the head guy and before jumping into this, knowing that, my past being a percussionist as the band director and not having a percussion instructor, I'm used to doing everything. So like he said, in terms of band, I would work with the band. Okay, they're done. Let me go work with the percussion section. But thankful, to have Joey this time. I was able to assist him as much as I can, with time due to being the head band guy. So pretty much I honestly gave Joey the keys and said, run with it. Like, look, I recruited these guys. Let me tell you what you got. You got a variety of talent. I know if anything, you got snare players. You got a good snare section. And then the goal with anyone, of course, is bringing, we have 39 students together and trying to create and make them sound like they've been playing together for 4 or 5 years, which is beyond difficult. So pretty much Joey hit the head on the nail with everything that he had to do. And when we released rehearsal or I had time, I would go and follow up and listen and be that outside ear listening to what he did, what may have not caught because he's used to hearing it over and over and over. And, pointing things out and look, check this out. Hey, you guys, look at that. Oh, clean that up. Oh, we don't like that. Change that. That's not going to work for us. Joey, when you gonna work with the quints? Ask him. I'm like, when you gonna get the quints? I feel like they need you right now. So that's kind of what I did this semester, because as a whole group, we were all getting our footing together. And I didn't want to step on his toes in any way because I say it all the time. It's his line. do what you want to do, and I'll help you, whatever that is. And if there's something I suggest or whatever, I'm just coming to follow up behind you, not to step on your toes. Because again, we have two different backgrounds in percussion. Like I'm a Midwestern guy, he's an East Coastern guy. And of course, anyone who knows percussion, those in terms of marching are completely different, you know. So yeah, from the creative standpoint, I always tip my hat to Joey as well as some of the students, because we allowed them to actually do some of the things that you bring some of the stuff to the table to help get this going. Because if you think with any college line, they probably have a history of tradition, a history of cadence. This is 30, 40 years plus of material. We had to create everything in, 4 months, you know, to get just enough to something to parade to. Okay, we need parts for songs. Okay, you guys need stuff for the crowd. Oh, you need a drum block. Oh, you guys need some cadences. What if we got to challenge somebody? And that is a lot to do. We think about it like in hindsight. Like, and I honestly had to, just me personally, just, you know, kind of back off and let Joey work and not let him overstress himself trying to do everything, because year 1 versus year 5 will be totally different for any drum line. So I just look forward to it growing over time. And I'm sure he's been cooking and writing, and I've actually started writing too in preparation for when we get back to, like, you know, beef up our percussion book.
Cool. All right, so before we get into question 3, hey, Rick, let's check out this video real quick. So question 3, how were you guys able to achieve the success you had with the line this year, being its first year? Joey, you mentioned something earlier about, you know, strapping up with them. So I would say you led by example. But what are some other ways that you were able to achieve that success?
A lot of it just came from practice and a lot of like understanding of what we were doing, and I had to speak a lot. Like, it was a lot of lectures, a lot of times where I had to sit everybody down and be like, all right, we need to understand what's happening so we can kind of work efficiently. And that was a lot of it. Like you said, sometimes I had to strap up. I had to really get in it. Like, I remember the first like 2 weeks I strapped up on snares because I wanted them to know, like, I wasn't like one of those instructors. I was just going to stand in front all day and like just talk. Like, nah, I wanted to get in so we can get in a grind together, so we can really do this together. So, yeah, I mean, it was really a lot of just, like I said, leading by example, talking to them, making sure they knew what was going on, because at the end of the day, like, we had a agenda we had to get done, you know, and we just had to work together. Like, a lot of it required like just practice and a lot of like, you know, just muscling through the issues, the little growing pains, all that stuff. Eventually it all kind of came together.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes you got to sit there and talk to them before, you know, you start playing, or even after you play a couple of hours, still got to talk to them.
Yeah.
Got to communicate with them. Okay, good stuff.
Cool, thank you, Joe. Dr. Goodwine, you got anything to add to that?
Mine is the talk to them, but I came from a different angle than Joey did. Like, I'm a big culture guy, and a big, you know, I'm big on the vision. Like, what are we doing here? And, you know, just let everyone know, like, out the gate, like, no one cares that we've been practicing for 4 weeks. No one cares. When it's time to perform, they want to see a show. You can't give that excuse, oh, we just got together, so, you know, we don't sound as good. It's not a thing. So we're going to sit here. And like I said, giving Joey the green light, we're going to get here until we get it done, and get it to as best as we can get it before we can perform. And then, you know, the other piece, you know, new program, a chance to do something different, kind of shock the percussion world as well as the band world, you know, give the people something that they've never seen before. You have a big opportunity here. Like, you guys are history. I think we said history, the word history, more than anyone ever in our life.
It needed to be understood.
The,
like, this is big.
Like, you are the first. So act like it. Carry yourself like someone that started something. And let your material and your performance come across as if you haven't been practicing for only 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of it also is just realizing like we're in the big leagues now. You know, like, this isn't no high school stuff. Like, we will go out there and look bad. And we're in the day and an age where social media, a video will go viral in 10 minutes if you give it a chance. So a lot of it was just realizing like nobody cares if, like you said, they don't care about how much we practice. They care about the end result. What they want to see is they want to see if we was talking the talk and can walk to walk, like, and as like the staff, because we're a pretty qualified group of people. So it's like, can they really pull off the, you know, like they was calling us the band Avengers, like, you know, could we really do what it was expected of us? And it was like, a lot of it was like, hey, this is not a game. Like, you can't come in here. This is not for the weak. You gotta have tough skin. Like I said, that was a lot of the lectures and a lot of the talks, like, because you have all these different, especially Virgil students, the way how he had to teach them was you know, completely different from somebody from just a regular band program that never got yelled at, you know. So it was just a lot of like, you know, just like, hey, we can't be no chumps out here, bro. We got to work.
Yeah, and I think my quote of every practice was, those bands or drum lines that you guys look up to, you guys have to go against them.
Yeah.
So we need to be practicing, you know. And I'm sure Elijah, well, Ricardo too, you know, when you get kids from all over who think their playing ability is up here, and then you got to be the one to tell them, like, hey, you're kind of a little bit down here, but we're going to work with you. We're going to bring it together. But I need you to understand, like, what you're doing and what you think you're doing, not the same thing. Okay?
At all.
So thank you, guys.
Yeah, the best thing I learned is to sit them down that first performance. They understand after that.
Like, you know what? You're going to sit down.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So you guys mentioned there's a lot of firsts here for you. And I think the key word was, you know, history. You know, you guys are making history for your school and just history in the HBCU drumline world as well, just coming back. So along with those big words, talk to us about some of the core values, being it's that your first year. What are some of the core values that you guys instill in your drumline and just in the program in general?
I would say like number one, we kind of had to have the courage to do this. You know, that's kind of like starters, because I mean, even for me, like I've never even thought of moving to Ohio for anything. You know, so you have to have some sense of like bravery and some sense of courage to even want to do this, especially being the first program, being the first people to ever do it. You have to have a strong sense of that. Another one I would say is like just dependability in a way, because we all had to have each other's back, and it was no sense of like there was nothing to refer back to. It was like all in the moment now. So it's like everybody had to pull their own weight all the time. Like we can't have somebody slacking. We can't have somebody, you know, just not pulling their weight, because we're only as strong as our weakest link. All those little sayings, like it applied. So I would definitely have to say dependability, because it was some moments where maybe somebody remembered the bass drum part, somebody else didn't. Well, that person that remembered it came through, you know, because we needed that. I was like a strong sense that something strong we needed at the moment. And I would say like kind of perseverance, because you had to see it through. You had to really kind of understand, like, we're here to work and we don't know where we're working towards, but there's an end goal that we need to achieve. And we may not see it now, but it's gonna be there. We just kind of have to keep working. It was a lot of doubts. You know, you have doubts in regular band programs, like, is this gonna be a good season for us? Is it whatever? But we didn't have any of that. So it was like the doubts were on 1,000. You know, we had to just kind of keep pushing through and just have a sense of trust, you know, like trust that within me, within the students amongst each other, we all had to have trust to know like, you know, this isn't easy. It's, you know, it's very hard. It's not easy at all to build a program from scratch and actually try to be a credible program out the gate. Like, I mean, I had plenty of people telling me like, man, it's our first year, y'all can mess up. Like, it's cool. But in my mind, it was like, no, like, that's lame. Why would we use that as a cushion? It's not a thing. We're too good for that. Like, so we need to have those, like, that, off the top of my brain, like, it's kind of what really applied to us this season. Like, again, we're still building. So like, we don't have it all figured out. You know, but as the spring go on, like we'll develop more characteristics that apply to us. So like next year, it can really be like, hey, y'all, going back from last year, this is everything we learned, and these are the values that we taught or we learned along the way, and something we can teach to the next line.
Oh, good points. Thank you.
Oh.
Birch, did you have any? Dr. Goodwine, did you have anything?
Nah, he hit the hell on no. I think the biggest thing was make it happen and embrace that, figure it out and make it happen. You know, like I always mention like being a gig and performing or something like that. Like, you know, stuff changes. We got to figure it out, make it happen. No excuses, just figure it out. Get the product out there. We'll, I don't want to say argue, but you know, we'll complain amongst ourselves and then get the job done, you know.
Cool. So you said some heavy words there, man, you know, and heavy phrases, Joey. And one thing that I picked up on, well, two things I picked up on. One is trust and pulling your own weight, right? So when we talk about pulling your own weight, this leads into the next question here. And, you know, to any future incoming freshmen, right? I'm sure that just run us through that audition process for that incoming freshman for you guys' line.
Well, again, like we still building, so this would be our first time. Well, my first time actually conducting an audition. But if I could give somebody steps, first I would tell them to apply to the university. That's number one. Make sure you get accepted, because there's no point to audition if you're not even accepted. You're wasting people's time. Then after that, it really depends on what you want to play. So if you want to play snare, as of right now, I mean, I have people reach out to me right now, and what I'm telling them is send me a video, you know, so I can see their level of playing, see if, I mean, you can judge by a video if somebody can actually have the hands or not, or can hang or can't hang. So, so yeah, I mean, the audition process will be essentially as we continue to build our program and add like concert band, and then, you know, those instruments that require scales and everything, like all that will play it into effect, like when you're trying to like get the most out of your scholarship. So, basically, you know, step one, get accepted. Step two, have the hands. Step three, if you have, you know, musical talents outside of that, you know, it's all just icing on the cake after that. You know, it's just like, well, I kind of want to take a little old school approach to it. I don't want to say old school, but like when I was a freshman, you know, the audition process was there, but also the recruitment was there too. So I remember, you know, going to schools like, hey, that's a big boy. I need him to hit that bass drum. You know, so it really was like, hey, I see right now that you're actually kind of valid. You can play. Do you want to come, you know, do what you're doing here? You know, and it's kind of like you kind of actively go pick and choose who you want. You know, you have those people that are going to want to audition. But for me, I kind of want to I want to do both, you know, but ultimately, like, I kind of want to just like pick like a AAU team, like a roster. Like you go out and you see them like, okay, you valid, like with me, you want to come play with me. And it's like, you know, but you know, eventually as the program moves on, like it'll get more defined. It's like, all right, you got more talents. Like how many scales, you know, can you play drum set? Can you do this? Can you do that? Because we have concert band, jazz band, you know, wind ensemble, all these things that are going to require percussionists. So at some point it's going to transition from like, you know, being drummers, and then let's actively seek some percussionists that can actually, you know, bring some more to the table than just, I can play loud and I can, you know, it's like.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. So I know that when you first walked in, and I lead into this question because I know Dr. Goodwine, he's just not going to bring anybody to the table, especially if Dr. Goodwine can play himself. So I'm sure he's already, weeded out certain elements in that aspect before you even take a look at him, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's not enough to get past you. You got to go through Joey.
Yeah, like Joey bringing here brings like an extra layer because like, I recruiting all these students for the first year, I went out and, got who I could, got who was interested and, set some level of expectation. And, now the line is here, the group is performing. So of course, now that expectation is just like went through the roof. So coming into next year, I'm going to still have the same open mind. I'm like, hey, I like this guy. But then it's like Joey's the extra layer. Like, all right, Joey, here you go. What you think? Let me know. And we'll go from there, man. Really, again, like Joey, I say it to the band staff all the time. I mean, they don't know how much they saved my life because it was just me all last year, just doing everything. So, but yeah, the audition process, of course, what I was saying, you should know your rudiments. You should be able to sight read something. You should be able to read something on the some prepared etude piece or something like that. Common ones are the Pratt solos or Mitchell Peters books or stuff like that everyone normally looks at. If you want to go crazy, look at Flamnambulous. If you can run some of those lines, I really love it. That's how I know you can play. This is stuff like that.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Joey, you mentioned something earlier, as far as the audition process, one being make sure you can get in school. You shouldn't be worrying about, what you can play, this and that, how fast you can play if you can't get in school. Right. So, to all the incoming freshmen who's, choosing Wilberforce, get your grades up if they're not up. Apply early, do what you have to do, and make sure you can get in school first, before you worry about anything else. I just want to put that out there. Going to the next question. We all know this is you guys' first year, and that was a struggle in itself. But talk to us about any other struggles you guys may have had this year, if any.
I can tell you right now.
I got a list. We'd be here on for 3 hours.
I know all rip. My first main struggle was trying to keep up with this book that this man wanted to create, because it was insane. Like, you have to understand too, like we have we have to keep up with the band, but we also have to do our own stuff too. And we all know you need marching cadences, you need battle cadences. The band got to tunnel in, so you need tunnel cadences, you need your warm-ups, all that stuff. And then like just trying to tackle all these band songs. Like, I mean, I think our like band camp alone, I think our first day passed out like 3 songs, and I was like, what? This is crazy. And then one of them was neck. So I'm like, bro, first of all, trying to make a new neck is a struggle in itself, because everybody has their own variation of neck, and then you don't want to copy nobody else's drum beat. You don't want to, it's a lot. You have to really construct, like, again, trying to reinvent the wheel. That was a struggle itself. But really just trying to keep up with the band songs, that had me up every night. And I tried every method. I tried to write them out, attach the audio to a video with the sheet music, with the audio from the band file playing and our file. Like, it was just, it got too much. Like, I tried everything. And, eventually it was like, yeah, we finna play this song. And I'm like, nah, we don't know it, bro. I'm like, come on, man.
We don't know it, bro. I look at him, he give me the look, and then I look back like, what you mean you don't know it? I can see how this stuff 2 weeks ago.
Nah, yeah, exactly. That's the last time we went. So yeah, that was one of the main struggles. And then I will admit, it would happen to me this way, but the Quints were the biggest struggle for me, because they all came from, I just say they came from not so well backgrounds. And their style was just different. They did not reflect what I wanted them to reflect. And I had to like just playing along, like hands, like it was tough. Like I told them on day one, I said, y'all not gonna be the choppiest Quint section this first year, but y'all will be the smoothest Quint section this first year. I'll tell you that. It was just a lot of things I had to teach them in order for them to play like how I wanted them to play, because I played Quince and it's like that's my thing. So of course that would be the section that had the most struggles for me. And I thought it was funny because it was like, you know, it was like an ultimate test to see if I can build a Quince section from scratch and actually make them good. And I think I mean, ain't no think. They're pretty valid if you ask me.
It's me.
No, I don't know about that. And then I got, man, like I said, we got struggles for days. But my last struggle, I would just admit, is kind of realizing my role. Because again, like a lot of times, like I would just go up to Virgil and I'll be like, hey man, what about this? And do you think about this and blah, blah, blah. And he'll be like, hey man, it's on you. Like what you want to do, like what sticks you want to use, what heads you want to put on. And I never been put in that position where I had that much power, because eventually it was like, hey bro, can we do this? And he'd be like, that's what you want to do, bro. Like it's on, like, and it didn't click for me at first because this is just a big role. And I did this on the high school level, but on the collegiate level, it's just a little different, especially when you have like the other day, you was like, hey, go order the heads you want, order the sticks you want, because all that stuff, because we can do it now. So it's like, it's weird. Like I'm about to go shop for drum heads and drumsticks, and I'm not holding back. Like, so realizing that was kind of like just a struggle. Just like, oh, I'm actually here now. Like I can actually have this conversation with the people I used to look up to. Like I can sit at the big table now. Like, oh, okay, what are we talking about now? Like before it was like, hey, what was they talking about? But now I'm we. So let's get it.
So Dr. Goodwine, before you answer, if you have an answer, Joey, you taught high school before, correct?
I did.
I guess let the audience know which high school.
Oh, I used to teach at T.W. Andrews in High Point, North Carolina.
Okay. So, and I have an extra question. Going from high school to college, what's the difference as far as dealing with the students?
Oh, no different. I hate to
What's
say
different?
it. Oh, no different. I would just say it was adults. So I had to really tread lightly with how I spoke to them and the words I used, because I had to remember I was speaking to people that was like, you know, like adults, you know, so that was the hard part, the difference. But a lot of the problems were the same. Like some people couldn't read, some people can play better than others. You have the little in the drumline issues that just happen, ego issues, like all that stuff was the same. The only difference was just like I had double the numbers. So it was like double the like responsibilities. But it had parallels. I used to say all the time, I used to get so frustrated. I'd be like, man, this is like high school, bro. Can y'all just get it together? Like, can we please move on? Because this is dumb. And then it would click, like they would realize like, oh, are we doing high school stuff? Like, yes, we are. Can we? But it wasn't just drumline. It was like band too. Like even like, come on, band. Can we just get it together? You all act like high school right now.
Okay, cool. So, Dr. Goodwine, going back to the previous question, did you have any struggles as far as the assistant percussion instructor?
Man, I say one, like really allowing Joey to do his thing, and not stepping on his toes or diving in too fast, too early, and really recognizing that, like really empowering him. And it wasn't a struggle, it was more so with me, like, you can sit back and focus on something else. You can do that now. You've reached this level in your career where you don't have to do everything. Like he said, he would come up and ask this, and I would give him the look like, well, whatever, unless it's stupid, is whatever you want to do, you know? And then, you know, not diving in when something didn't go right or something worked. It's like kind of sit back, like it's gonna work itself out. This is why you call Joey, because you know he's the man. Let him figure it out, and then support him if he needs you to. Like students would, because like he said earlier, majority of the students were my former students in some capacity, whether it was at the high school level or back when I used to teach just local community lines. So a lot of them will come to me for problems or issues or whatever's going on. Of course, as a mentor, you're going to answer whatever. But then when it came to something that I knew was Joey's call. It was like they would say something, they would say, well, my response is, well, what does Joey think? Well, Joey said this. Why are we talking about it? You know, kind of thing. Just supporting him. And then in terms of like percussion, like ordering stuff and all that, like, of course, I ordered everything within being an artist with different drum companies, you know, and then things that were I preferred over others. And then just saying the sticks, for example, they were the ones I ordered, you know, with the style of playing and as aggressive as Joey has them playing, they would break really, 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 really fast. And it's nothing, and I'm not gonna say, Joey, stop doing what you're doing. Say, okay, we might need to switch this. And some heads will bust. Oh God, we might need to switch this. So me, it's just allowing Joey to hear Joey on what he wants, because of course, you know, everyone knows he's from A&T, and the slightest thing that we do, whether it's a drumstick, a head, a strap, or a twirl or something, will relate us to what they do at North Carolina A&T. Shout out to A&T because we love what y'all do. But really getting Joey to get like, okay, this is you. This isn't Cold Steel. This isn't T.W. Andrews, One Nationals, and all that you've done in the past. I want Joey. So what does Joey want, and how do you want to take this line? So that in itself, for me, trying not to be a micromanager as a percussionist who knows, like, okay, we got to get in, we got to learn these beats. That was probably my own personal struggles. Of course, as a line, like I struggle with not being able to get material to them because I'm the band guy and I'm working a million other things. So it's like, man, it's like you see somebody do double Dutch. I'm just sitting here like this. But I can't jump in like, hold on, y'all, I got to go back over here. And I come back and get to doing it all over again, you know? So, so defining my role as still being a percussionist, you know, want to be a part of, loving, you know, what they're doing, come out and, you know, do some small critiques here and there. And then just accepting that and stepping into that and really empowering Joey. Like, I think he said it all the time, like when we first met at, was it PASIC in 2018?
18. Yeah, 18. 19.
And I, you know, we hung out, rapped, and I was like, hey man, we're gonna do some business together. And seeing it full circle, now me calling him, our story on how he got this job is, we can't even talk about it on this video. We'll talk later on why I picked him, but like seeing it come full circle and then now where we are, like, I mean, it's appreciated, man. Like, if you guys only knew, man, we need like all of the smoke conversation type things where we could just talk and not get in trouble on some of the things that you know, we went through over this past semester. And just, I mean, it's identical to every line, everything that everyone goes through, whether you're 30 years in or 4 weeks in, you're gonna have the same struggle. So.
Hey, cool. Good stuff.
So you guys both hit on some good points. So if you don't mind me asking, think about this last season, right? And you had your struggles. If you could hit the button and wind back to something that would make your process a lot more streamlined, what would that be?
Truthfully, I don't think there's a button we can push to like just make it all go away, because, like, you know, 39 students, 39 different backgrounds, different philosophies, different programs, strengths and weaknesses. And of course, everyone in there, different egos, and some you have to build up and some you have to rebuild. Truthfully, like I think us as a staff had to have those conversations. Like, remember, we're building. This is the beginning. So we can't bite down on like, it's supposed to be like this or it's supposed to be like that. No, it's not, because we're creating our expectations. So come next semester and next year and then the following semester, that expectation will start to grow. So then we'll be at that, all right, this is what it's supposed to look like. Everything we had to approach it from is like, okay, we know what's good and what's bad. So we're not going to do what's bad, and we're going to work to do what's good. And just consistent, like I think he said, persistence earlier, nonstop, like, you know, persistence is the father of learning. So keep doing it. You keep doing it till you get it right. Keep doing it till you get it right. Now, as I'll say to the kids, practice makes permanent. So we're going to practice it right so it's embedded in our heads.
Cool. Anything for you, Joey?
Yeah, I would, if you know how they say, I wouldn't change anything that happened because it made us who we are today. It's one of them type of questions for me. Like, only thing I would kind of adjust is just looking back on my own like work and like what I was doing and the energy I was putting in. I would probably put more energy into it because you know, you expect a lot from the students, but then a lot of times, like, you know, you forget that you have to put in just as much energy with them. So I would have just spent more time individually with like the people, you know, trying to get the ones that weren't so up to par so that we can work together. But again, like when you have to do this and we need to learn this and we got to go make a field show now, you know, now we got to teach a whole field show from scratch. Like it was just a lot we had to do that we kind of really couldn't focus on. And I would really just take more time to, you know, make sure the ones that weren't that as advanced, get them to a better spot so that they felt comfortable. Because it was a lot of like, you know, I mean, we all know how it goes. When you got good people and you got bad people, eventually the bad people start to annoy everybody. And then it's like, come on, man, can y'all get it together? And that's what I would have adjusted. But again, it was only but so much you can do. And then we only practice 4 hours a day. So it's like, you can't do but so much. You know, you have to really focus on what's going on in that time that we allot. So.
Cool.
Well, I can say you guys are off to a good start, so you just build on it next year. You know, you got the stones in place, just build on it next year. Going to the next question, what advice would you all give someone who's stepping into the role of an instructor for the first time?
I would honestly just sit down with that person and tell them, like, just make sure you're prepared, like make sure you're confident in your own skin. Make sure you're confident in your approach. Like when I mean be prepared, I really mean like have at least, you know, 3 to 5 marching cadences, three to 5 warm-ups. Like, you know, you have to have your own sense of material going into it. And it's gonna be a lot of hurdles. You're gonna have to deal with a lot of like, you know, I mean, people bring their personal issues to business sometimes, and sometimes you got to take your instructor hat off and be a mentor hat or a psychiatrist or all this other stuff. Like you have to play all these roles, and you just got to be prepared because, you know, we had a lot of ups, but we also had a lot of downs too. And a lot of those downs was like, they hurt in a sense. Like it was like, man, I've never been put in this situation. Never had to do this before. And then the first week, like, you know, it was a lot of struggles like in that. So I would tell that person, read books, like have some people skills, like know how to talk to people, like know how to like deal with emotions. And like, where's this? I would tell them, got one book. I would tell them, read this book. I don't know if y'all can see it.
What's it?
It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's by Dale Carnegie. I would read that book because that book will help you deal with life and the people in it, you know?
You make it sound so depressing.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, it's a great job, but you know, they don't tell you, Virgil ain't tell me like, hey bro, it's a lot of people. But I mean, again, I dealt with that in high school. So you have those kids that have, you know, single parent homes, and you know, wow, I got kicked out of my house today, and you want me to come to practice and I don't got my shoes on. You begging me about my shoes. I don't even have shoes. Like, just all that stuff. Like, just be prepared, because this type of role is bigger than just, it's not like, hey, let's go work in our cubicle and then like, I don't have to talk to you. Like, no, we have to see each other every day, and we have to get to know each other, and we have to learn how to deal with each other. And, you know, we're a group. So in order for the group to be successful, everybody has to have a good sense of understanding with each other. So I didn't mean to make it sound depressing, but hey, this ain't for the weak, boy.
Hey, EP, we have been doing this for quite some time, and I can say this, there are a lot of firsts, even on this episode. Joey, Mr. Cabrera is the first person to come on here and show book. Say, hey, look, I encourage you to read this book
Hey,
before
first
you
time.
step in any role. Please read this.
hey, it's essential.
Good, man. Good, good. So we're pretty much coming to the close. And I can say this, hey, man, you guys out the gate, we're really rolling this year. I know what I expect going forward, right? Nothing but greatness. So that's just me, though. What are your expectations, or what do you look forward to the future with your line? And where do you want the direction of your line to go in the future?
I think for the future of our line, I just I see a sense of appreciation for like everybody in their own respective styles. I think what they'll grow to learn about us is they appreciate us for like what we do, because we I like to consider us more of a hybrid line. Like, I don't like to say we MEAC or SWAC, even though I tell the line all the time, like sometimes I'm against SWAC just because, I got my own reasons. But I'd like for us to, I think the future is people are going to gain a respect for us for what we actually did. And having a new band, a new drum line, a new sense of like, hey, how are they going to do this? I think the way we're going to do it is going to make people say, like give people a sense of relief. Like, I read a comment earlier this season, somebody said, watching them is like a breath of fresh air or something, like the material they have is a breath of fresh air. And it's like, it's relieving for folks, because they probably was expecting a lot. And what we did give them is again, I feel like they'll enjoy us. But also be worried too. I didn't mean to end like that. Like, he ain't gonna enjoy it. Like, you gonna take this L, but you gonna enjoy watching it. You gonna appreciate it. Like, yeah.
What about you, Dr. Goodwine?
I think like a little bit more experience and a more gelled together line. Of course, like, people from all over coming together, that you can't replace experience with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like Elijah can attest to it, like having those upperclassmen in the drum line proves so much help, or having that experienced section leader around improves so much help to any instructor. And we didn't have that. So like, we kind of managed everything. And I think a lot of issues will weed themselves out with just simple experience.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, good, strong section leader. Yeah, will do wonders, to help you out. All right. So looks like we're going into our bonus question.
Bonus time. Yeah. It's a bonus time.
So which HBCU line did you want to see this year or this past season, or want to see in the future? Dr. Goodwine, you go first.
I don't have a preference, truthfully. It's like wherever we're at, I want to get them to see a line, because again, going back to our experience, like you don't get or what they say, battle tested in pro NFL or NBA, even in band world. Like we haven't been tested in that arena yet. Like so it's like wherever we at, like whoever's there, we gotta go, regardless of their styles. Like Joey said, we're more of a hybrid mix. So we cater towards being able to do both, i.e. all of them. So I don't have a preference. It's just like, if there's a line there, whatever college it is, hey, we out here. Let's go. Let's see how we do. And then we can go back to the drawing board and figure out how we can improve. Now, that's my professional answer. I'll let Joey be the ruthless one. He can do that.
No, I ain't even gonna lie. I thought about this too. And I'm gonna say the same thing he said, but I'm gonna say it a different way. Like, I want to see everybody. You know what I mean? There's not one specific HBCU line I want to see. Like, I want to see them all, because we knew. So it's like, it's not really like I don't feel like I have you know, I can't be picky about this. Like he said, whenever we see somebody, they got a college line, like, well, like, what's up? You know, we a college line now, like, let's play. Like, I don't really have a preference, like swag MEAC, CIAA, it don't really matter. Like, I just want the I just want to be known, you know, yeah, no, they battled everybody and they handed out L's to everybody, you know.
Yeah, like I'm not a ducker. Like
Yeah.
from the band in the band world, same thing, and same in drumline. We wouldn't duck nobody. They there, we there. We playing. If it's up to me, especially, I think that's the blessing of being a band director as a percussionist, because you know how some band directors be like, no, drummers, we gotta go to corral, or it's time, we don't have time. No, we got time. We're gonna make time, you know, and it ain't gonna be on, and no one will never say that Goodwine said the drumline couldn't do nothing. He's a percussionist. Why would he say that? Then I'll be getting blasted on social media, like, he's not a drummer. What is wrong with him? He's no longer loyal. Nah. So any and everybody, man.
Okay. Well, I can say Virginia State is about what, a couple of hours from you guys?
A couple. Y'all about we already looked. It's about a good 8 or so. Eight. Oh my gosh, y'all far.
Okay.
Everybody
Y'all
far.
far.
That's the bad part. Everybody far.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Well, no, everybody's not far, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Everybody that want to play is far.
Okay, yeah, we'll allow that.
Hey, I will say this though. I want to say too, like, as much as I want to, you know, the battle culture is what it is, and people like to see battles. I actually want to see like some collabs too. You know, not necessarily like change the narrative, but like kind of expose a new narrative. Like if you ask me, I think it would have been dope if Jackson State and Central, after they battled, they blocked up, you know what I'm saying, and play a piece of material together. You know, I feel like that would have been nice to see for the cultures. That way, it's like, it's not so much like, yo, let's just battle. Like, that's what people want to see. But also, like, you know, I think it would be nice to see a world where we can have a universal cadence, you know, and like we just have something to ourselves that we can like play. Because I mean, if you think about it, tubas do it all the time. You'll see two tuba sections, they battle, and then after they battle, they join together, and then they play something together. Because at the end of the day, it's about like, you know, music and percussion and everything. So as much as I would want to see everybody, I think it would be dope if like it was more collabs going on too. Just, you know.
Yeah, I would say it was mentioned, you know, some while back in the PC on Facebook, and you know, he's talking about, you know, getting a universal cadence, but it never flourished. But maybe something we can revisit and get it going. Like that idea though.
Outstanding idea.
All right, so I have another bonus question. So in a certain group on Facebook, a lot of guys say, you know, Wilberforce sounds like Cold Steel, A&T. How can you guys address that?
So, I mean, the best way I can explain this is basically like this. I went to A&T. Everything I learned about percussion, I learned from A&T. Everything that I like, all the showmanship skills, all the, you know, aspects of putting on a good show, like I learned from there. So when I was given an opportunity to start a new line, I mean, of course, where am I going to pull from? I'm going to pull from what I know. But sometimes I just kind of wish people took a step, you know, to the side and kind of just analyze what I was really teaching, because I'm not teaching anything that isn't taught in the professional world. Like, for instance, like I've been contracted to be a professional drummer, and I've worked for amusement parks like Carowinds and Valley Fair. And my job there was to put on a drum show, like put on an entertaining show for the crowd. So a lot of the things that they expected from me as you know, I'm talent, like they hired me. A lot of things they asked me to do was very relatable to things I learned at A&T, like extremely like verbatim, like the things they would ask me to do, I would do it. And they would be more amazed that I knew exactly what they was asking me for. And I just had to credit, you know, where I learned, like the program I went to, like in college. So basically to address the comments, like, I mean, what do you, I almost want to say, what do y'all expect? But it's not like, what do y'all expect? It's really more so like that's what I know, that I'm going to teach what I was taught. Like, but it's almost like, I mean, even Virgil said it one time, it's kind of like disrespectful because Cold Steel, they do their own thing. And it's not like we're not replicating that at all. And if we try to, it'll just be like a waste of time. And I'm not sitting here trying to like replicate nobody's style. It's like, it's the fundamental principles that we're taught that I'm teaching, you know, like, hey, when you're doing this, it's a Newton's third law. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So if we're just standing out there and not moving in one spot, not bobbing our head, the audience is going to look at us like, okay, that's what they want us to do. Just stand in the audience and just look at them. And then whenever they finish playing, they don't know how to, they like, oh, now they're done. You know, so it's like, I could have took that approach, but instead it's like, nah, we got to give the audience something to like feel. And it's like, you know, you play into the psychology of it, the five senses. Like, I mean, if you look at Beyonce's show, Beyonce not on stage just standing there with a mic. Like, no, she's putting on a show. She has an alter ego. She has social fears. So when she gets on stage, like she does certain things that invokes and certain emotions into the crowd. And when I put a drum show, when I do certain things like that, it comes off like Cold Steel. Like, no, it's not that. It's things that they do in the professional world, but people don't really see it that way first. And I mean, I can't blame them because it's just a lack of experience, lack of knowledge. You know, they don't have the style, like they're not open-minded to appreciate other styles. So it's like, it becomes a challenge, but you got to take it in one ear and not the other. Like, they're going to talk, people going to hate, you know, it is what it is.
Dr. Goodwine, you want to elaborate?
Put me on the spot. Nah, like he said, like, I think that one, again, is the disrespect and it shows a disservice and lack of knowledge of what A&T does. Because, you know, everyone, you know, they see drum show and think that everyone that does drum shows is A&T, like not recognizing that, was it BBI does drum shows, BCU does drum shows, VCU does drum shows. And of course we're all going to give homage to Prairie View, the originators of in the HBCU world in terms of drum shows and drum features. So yeah, like and it's more than just moving around dancing with a drum, you know, like the actual material being played and how that is expressed. I mean, it varies across of whoever's playing. Yeah, like I just think it's like, gosh, like people really can't see the difference between or can't hear the difference between playing. It's like I remember at a time what I used to do when I was younger, fresh out of college, like I could listen to a line and know who it is just by the tuning of the drums. Of course, then, you know, I mean, I was much more listening and just doing drums, but like I can tell you who's playing by how the drums are tuned, and then listen to the material, the beats that I be playing. Like, oh yeah, like I remember back in the day, there was a time where VSU, they compared VSU and Norfolk. Like, you know, I remember, well, at least in the Midwest, I'm sure you heard of it back when you guys were playing it a lot. And it's like, you can hear the differences in the lines. Now the overall Virginia style of play may be similar, but there's a distinct difference in both lines. So stuff like that, I just think is, again, lack of knowledge, lack of experience. And, you know, Facebook gives everybody a platform to speak. And sometimes like when
Hey, go ahead, drop the history
like,
on them though.
What you say?
I said drop the history on them though. Who is
Hey,
it?
nah, man, I don't want to start you. Don't get me going. You revving me up, man. You revving me up.
I just wanted to make sure they knew, you know what I'm saying, what you was out here doing.
Nah, man. Oh, see, man, don't get me started. Hey, all right, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so when I was teaching, growing up, I always wanted to go to Prairie View. You know, my mama wouldn't let me go to Prairie View. So my community group out in Dayton, Ohio, we would do drum shows because I love Prairie View. So that's what I wanted to do. Like, there are still some footage of us doing stuff like that back in like 04, 05, 06. And this is around the time that the Cold Steel started to go, and they kind of changed. I think I remember what year Harvey got there. Was it 06?
Yeah.
06, something like that, 06. So yeah, like we were, of course, the stage being on a smaller market, way community line versus college, way different, two different worlds. So yeah, though, like, man, me personally been doing it for a long time, but I always give homage that, like, especially any drum show I would create, it would kind of cater more towards the Prairie View versus the Cold Steel, because of I'll say it, like I said earlier, I pay homage, and that's what I loved growing up watching that. Like, man, these guys just threw this big bass drum and it just flew across the daggone field, and I probably got a show where I made my kids do it. And of course, in practice, when you don't have multiple drums and you don't have multiple drum heads, so when the drum is not caught and the rim breaks, then you screwed and you like, oh, this is a stupid idea. You realize it then. But as a group, young percussionists going up, you're like, oh, yeah, we got to do that, man. That's what the people want. So yeah, that's why I said to Joey, even when I first met him, the Midwest this area, once he has his knowledge in terms of percussion, because that big East Coast feel is different over here in the Midwest. And then what we have in the Midwest kind of links, like there are certain lines that do some of everything. And that's what we're trying to do with the hybrid line. Like there is no style. Like I say it all, we say it all the time, like we're gonna do what we want to do.
We do
exactly what we want to do. You might see the tenors start knocking as if they at Dub T or Lane, and then do some little move like they're in Prairie View, and then maybe go back to a bump and then slide, do something smooth like they're anti. Who knows? So like that is the style that we're trying to portray and convey. We're gonna do exactly what we want to do.
I love it. Good answer.
Oh yeah, I just want to say, Mr. Cabrera, Mr. Dr. Goodwine, you guys just came on and really talked about what you guys do there at Wilberforce University. Black Ice, I think you guys are a phenomenal, outstanding drumline. Thank you guys for coming on and just talking about what you guys do great there. And like I said, like to comment, my boy EP the Great, it's not about us, it's about the culture.
You just said it. You just said my line too early.
Not about us. It's about the culture. Now you need a little jingle in the back so you can.
Yeah, man.
Right.
But now I want to, take this time to thank, you guys to take, come on our cast about your busy schedule. Good job, very good job. I was very impressed with what I saw and heard from the videos. But to the audience, make sure you subscribe. Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. Like Rick already said, it's for the culture. It's not about us. But, everybody be safe, and we'll see y'all next episode.